In this shocking and breaking story, an active duty Navy member just risked it all by condemning Donald Trump and ICE. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avalone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, after the tragedy that occurred with Renee Good, more and more high-profile people are speaking out.
What in the world the Kristi Noem or President Trump has as the goal in Minneapolis? What is going to be accomplished that you would be considered a success? You tell us what it is, is it the worst of the worst? You say you've arrested 500. How many of those 500 are cons? Or criminals, or violent child rapists and all? I hear from time to time. How many of the 500 that you say you've arrested are those? Anyway, Connell, I think it's been a disaster so far.
He's not the only one. Mark Ruffalo also had some comments. But by far the most shocking thing is this active duty Navy member who just risked it all and condemned Donald Trump. Now, before I show you her video, let me give you just a tiny bit of context. This is active duty Navy officer. Now, you can see that conservatives are quite furious about the fact that she just broke her military protocol. But here's the weird thing that I have to point out. Conservatives actually want this person fired for violating military protocol by wearing their uniform while condemning ICE and Donald Trump, but they don't want the ICE officer who violated protocol and murdered a woman. They don't want him fired. No, they're hailing him as a hero, donating to his GoFundMe page. The hypocrisy is staggering. I've talked enough, though. Take a look at this.
I have some to say. Y'all aren't gonna like it. And yes, I am in uniform on purpose because it is important to me for you guys to understand who this is coming from. Due to military law, I cannot speak on the administration, so I will keep it very vague. But I want to talk about ICE and not the shit on the ground. What happened in Minneapolis cannot be excused. It should not be excused. And I go as far as to say that people who are defending it, saying that it should have happened or that she deserved it, you should not associate with those people because it tells you a lot about their morals, and along with other things that are morally wrong with those kinds of people, it just makes sense, right? Now, if you were someone who can get past those morals and say, okay, well, I don't think they deserve to die, however, it was warranted due to the circumstances of the situation, it still wasn't warranted because, one, it was illegal. What they did was illegal, minus the fact that they killed somebody. ICE is not law enforcement. In their rules, they are not allowed to shoot at fleeing vehicles. They are not allowed to approach or drag people out of cars, which is what they were trying to do if you watch the video, unless they suspect that they are an undocumented immigrant, which is their whole span of, duty. She was a white woman. She was a white woman who was letting a car pass in front of her to get away from ICE. Whatever you want to call it, yes, maybe she was just trying not to get her vehicle hit by another car, sure, she was letting them go, whatever. There was no warrant for them to get out of their car and stop her and try to get her out of her car. That is the first point that I want to make, is that them stopping her was unwarranted regardless because she did not fit the description of the people they were looking for to begin with. Point number two being, from whatever angle you want to look at, right? Yes, the non-law enforcement dude who was standing in front of the vehicle when she began to turn out, she very well could have slightly tapped his thigh with the edge of her bumper, trying to get away from them. It does not warrant being shot in the face several times. Okay, do you want to know why? His life wasn't in danger. It is not self-defense if your life is not in danger. By the time he pulled out his weapon and shot her, she was already turned the opposite direction going away. He was out of the way of the vehicle. You can argue that point all you want, but regardless, he wouldn't have died. And that is one of those things that if you say, well, she was legally in the wrong. If she was legally in the wrong, that could have been fought legally in court. Had she been alive today. How is that, how do you guys not understand that? And then there's going to be the people who are saying, well, this is the first time it happened. Maybe it's just this one guy. The reason I'm saying this specifically and you guys can call it fear-mongering or whatever the you want. I'm now scared. I am a white woman who works in the military. Here's my rank, here's my branch, here's my name, whatever. I live in San Diego, and today there were protests over ICE. They're here. In the event that I get stopped in an instant like that, where I'm caught up somewhere where I'm not trying to be, whether I'm in uniform or not, I'm now terrified that that is going to happen to me. You want to know why? Because if I am in a situation where an unmarked vehicle pulls up on me and a man, several men wearing masks, which they're not allowed to do, pulls a gun on me, I'm taking the off. And legally, they have no warrant to stop me, trying to get in my vehicle and take me out of it, or shoot me. But it's now a problem that will continue to happen. And even in like the calmer sense of things, there was a situation that happened maybe a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I don't really remember because it's hard to keep up with all of this. There was a sailor, a U.S. Navy sailor in Virginia Beach, who was pulled over by an ICE agent who was in uniform. And they suspected him of being an undocumented immigrant. He showed them their CAC, your common access card. Every single military member has one, which is your identification saying you are legally in the United States military. That was not good enough. This person was arrested and detained by ICE for being brown. Okay? I'm half Hispanic. Would you have guessed? No. But now, white people, this white woman was shot in broad daylight because she was not complying. They are not law enforcement. They are not the police. They are not the military. They are not a sanctioned party who dictates those things. Regardless if it was a police officer, I would still be saying the same shit. His life is not in danger. She should not have died. She was not the target demographic of what they're going after, which is unfortunate to say in itself. But it should have never happened, therefore it should not be defended. I think that the protests and the riots are okay in this instance. Her car was full of toys for her 3 children, and she was letting a car pass, and then motioned them to go forward, and then they started getting out of the vehicle, and she said, you know what? I don't want anything to do with this. Decides to move at like 3 miles an hour. My life is in danger. Oh no! Kills her? You guys should be more mad at the people who are defending this man. And that's that.
Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.